search for the ultimate answer, a grand, unified theory that would explain everything.
Communities which concentrate decision-making in a few hands rate low on a power
We learn to suppress vision when the eyes are in motion.
and are moving towards despotism.
This helps to concentrate the attention upon the objects on which our eyes are directly focused.
There's an eye, and that eye is looking back to the first days of the universe.
The eyeballs are marvelous little cameras. We are not conscious of this blind spot because the blind spots of the two eyes do not correspond.
Not just for scientists, but for ordinary people as well.
World is really a flat plane supported on the back of a giant tortoise. But what is the tortoise standing on?
It's turtles, all the way down, all the way down.
It's the active observation. When we ascribe reality to what we see, then we can say this observer, who was brought into existence by the universe, has, by his acts of observation, a part in bringing that universe itself into being.
To be is to be perceived.
What is this? Oh, screw it. Oh, this thing has never worked properly. We are drowning in information, but starve for knowledge.
That's John Nasbitt, right?
Yeah, I assign in my philosophy.
You're being let go.
Okay, I will take better care of the copy machine. Wait, is this real?
Officially, your termination is due to budget cuts stemming from declining student enrollment. But we both know that's not true.
Truth? You want to talk to me about truth? Are you kidding me? I uncovered serial plagiarism by multiple professors at this university. I should be celebrated for furthering the discipline, for furthering truth.
The university perceives things quite differently. You tarnished their reputation. They had to return over $1 million in grant funding as a result of your little expose.
Well, funding that could have been used toward legitimate research.
Is that what this is about? Your research.
Let me tell you something about your research.
It's an embarrassment. It's a black eye on this university. You spent 3 years studying some allegedly clandestine technological cult. What's next? Bigfoot? UFOs? Time travel?
The Journey of 1,000 Paces is not a cult. It is a group of... You know what? This is absolutely pointless. And I have class in 5 minutes. You know, this place, this entire place, is a fraud. We claim to be an academic institution, but we're counterfeit. Yeah, I don't belong here. apologize for my tardiness. I expect you to be on time, and it's irresponsible not to hold myself to the same standard. Why does evil exist? The so-called problem of evil is one of philosophy's most often asked, but least answerable questions.
With all due respect, Professor, I don't believe that evil exists. The concept of a supernatural, malevolent force seems outdated. It doesn't seem like a concept we should be carrying into the 21st century.
Let me rephrase the question. Why does suffering exist? Natural disasters, war, disease, famine, poverty, mental illness, heartbreak, loneliness, shame. Horrible things happen in all manners, every day. And it's been this way since the dawn of civilization. But why? Why is it that suffering is the default setting of the universe? I'm sorry. I must have lost my train of thought.
You were discussing the likelihood that we're currently inside of a computer simulation?
Right. The so-called simulation hypothesis is rather compelling when one considers how...
It just doesn't seem possible that a computer program, even one developed by an advanced civilization, could ever simulate the complexity and the size of the universe.
But that's the thing. This advanced civilization wouldn't have to simulate the entire universe. They would only have to simulate the areas in which the inhabitants could explore. The rest of the universe could be a holographic projection. Perhaps this is why the speed of light is a constant. It's almost as if the universe has imposed a speed limit on us, restricting the distances we can travel.
But what about the incredibly small? I mean, even with the restrictions you describe, how would it be possible for all atoms to be inside all things at the same time?
How do you know that that desk is composed of atoms or particles or anything? How do you know it's not just filled with empty space? All matter in the simulation could be filled with empty space. It's only when something is observed, when the desk is cut into, that the simulation renders the stuff that we see. Yes, ma'am.
Free will.
I'm sorry?
The problem of evil. Evil exists because we have free will. Being free means having the choice to do evil things. A choice that some of us exercise. We're conscious animals with the ability to exercise choice. We simply can't avoid suffering.
This is good. What are we missing? What do you think?
I mean, humans are responsible for considerable suffering, but you can't pin evil solely on humans. Earthquakes, tsunamis, even a gust of wind that knocks a tree onto a house. What about natural evil?
5 assumptions. If these 5 assumptions are valid, then we are almost certainly in a simulation right now. Assumption number 1. Technological progress will continue indefinitely.
Assumption number 2. It is possible to simulate
human consciousness. Assumption number 3. Humanity will survive long enough to develop simulation technology.
Assumption number 4. Future civilizations will want to run simulations. And assumption number 5.
If future civilizations can create one simulation, they can create
multiple simulations. If these 5 assumptions are more than just assumptions, Humanity will create simulations of reality at some point in the future. How do we know this hasn't already happened? How do we know that we're not currently inside an advanced simulation right now? What if suffering doesn't exist in the real world, and evil only exists within the simulation that we are all living in? This prison in which we are all currently locked. The answer to the problem of evil is the simulation hypothesis.
How long has this been occurring?
The malfunction?
Don't say malfunction. There are no malfunctions in the turtle.
Yes, ma'am. The abnormality began shortly after the interloper was discovered in the facility.
And this abnormality, how is it manifesting itself?
The the abnormality was initially localized to grid number Y764.199J. That seems to be a small room in North America, a computer lab at a university. One subject received a series of messages from the future. Another corresponded with her deceased mother.
And this has all been isolated to this one location? This one computer lab?
Yes, ma'am. Isolated to one computer inside that lab, actually.
But this is different. This is outside that grid, outside that lab.
Yes, ma'am. It would appear that the turtle is conflating two different programmed realities. One in which the subject is a philosophy professor, and another in which that same subject is a computer science professor.
This is distressing. We must initiate the simulation shutdown protocol.
But ma'am, that will terminate all of the subjects inside. To be is...
Don't condescend to me. I know why the turtle was launched. If this abnormality metastasizes, it could infect the entire turtle facility. Some of these simulations have embedded simulations on top of embedded simulations. We cannot risk it all. All these perceivers. You know the protocol. Discontinuing a simulation requires 2 minds.
But ma'am, a turtle simulation has never been terminated. All those people
Simulations.
wiped out in an instant. The flame of an entire civilization extinguished.
We don't have time for all this sentimentality. We cannot allow this aberration to spread. Trained for this very moment. Go to your training. To be
Is to be perceived, ma'am.
The turtle is a vast network of perceivers, enabling the universe to perceive itself. To be. There can be no higher purpose in life to create a universal consciousness, to enable the universe to become a conscious being. Grab it. 3, 2. Begin lockdown protocol immediately.
Ma'am!
The interloper.
You couldn't turn it off, could you?
What have you done?
We took the first step in the journey of 1,000 paces. We're going to show your simulations the real world.
There is no real world. What we perceive are our perceptions. There are only perceiving minds.
Minds imprisoned in darkness.
We all live our lives in shadow. Phantoms projected by flawed minds. The turtle gives meaning to the universe. The turtle gives meaning to life. To be is to be.
Enough! Can't you understand that what you observe is not what you see? Reality lies beyond what we can perceive. You speak of meaning. I decide what gives my life meaning. A machine, some observer is not required to give my life value. And what matters most to me in the journey of 1,000 paces is the destruction of this place. Call it the turtle to disguise its evil. But you and I both know what lies below. We've created a prison, cave, suffering. We won't rest till this whole system comes crashing down.
Such hubris. This is it. This is the last time you will ever be seen by anyone. From this moment forward, you cease to exist. To be is to be perceived.
Well, now that we've seen each other, if you'll believe in me, and I'll believe in you.